I'm your host, Copelia. So excited to be here about a topic that you're gonna love, especially if you have someone in your family who maybe dreams of writing. The topic is inspiring our youth to write. And our special guest, you're gonna love her. It's Melissa Williams, and she's the founder of the iWRITE literacy organization. Melissa, thank you so much for being with us on Joy in Our Town today.
Thank you for having me.
So the iWRITE literacy organization, tell us a little bit more about what is the problem? Like, there's a steep drop in reading among our youth. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Exactly, and with a steep drop in reading will come a drop in writing as well. So there are many different aspects to why this is starting to happen in this generation that's kind of called the digital native generation. And with technology, we're seeing that the recommendation of 2 hours of entertainment technology a day is actually increasing to 7.5 is what's used.
Wow.
So it's a very, big difference. And what happens when you have children that are constantly on technology, they may not be writing as much, they may not be reading as much, and then we start to see creativity levels start to drop,
Wow.
the use of imagination, and overall awareness just to surroundings, and that love and curiosity to create memories, which that's one of the best ways to create a writing exercise, is to use your memories and experiences.
Not just put an emoji on a text.
Exactly, exactly.
That kind of limits it
Yes.
to a little thing. And you're saying we have this broad world that we can explore and we can express, but it's not happening. So I'm glad you're making this, an issue so that we can maybe fix it.
Right.
So why is there a need for an organization like iWRITE?
Well, with the just technology buzz, as a literacy organization, we are fighting against all kinds of distractions. So we have to make sure that we stay relevant and we bring in that cool factor
Right.
as a literacy organization to make sure that kids want to be a part of a literacy movement. They think it's important. It's something that they would encourage their friends to do and even post on, social media if so.
Right. So it does kind of come back around, but we want to make sure they don't lose the reading and writing aspect of it.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So it is a digital era, like you were just discussing. Why is it important for our kids to really polish their reading and writing skills? I know, of course, for passing a test in school, it's important. But in addition to that, what are some other reasons why our kids need to be really good at this?
Well, the pieces of literacy, it's not just reading and writing. It's also the ability to be able to communicate with others and to speak and express yourself. And that is very important to teach at a young age and to put in the forefront of a child's life as they continue to go on to upper level education and then jobs, of course. And there's going to be a huge benefit to someone who has more of an accelerated reading or writing level just for communication purposes alone.
Right. So it's really beginning, this is kind of like the building blocks. It's a foundation to getting not just better grades, but possibly a better job, better income. So it really affects the rest of their life.
Yes, and there's a psychological piece to this as well. I mean, writing is so therapeutic. Reading, you have such a greater sense of self-accomplishment when you get through a very long, book, or you've learned something through that experience. So what we're doing in the world of literacy is building confidence in a young person to later, go on through life and they're able to go back to that knowledge that they had. And hopefully that is an environment that is in the home. And if it's not, we have so many wonderful literacy partners
Right.
around town that are getting libraries into the hands of kids that they can take home. So they can start home libraries starting at their school if they had book donations. And we're really into journals and journaling. So journal donations, that type of thing as well.
That's great. And it's also almost, like you said, therapeutic. For kids that maybe come from a lower income area or disadvantaged homes, it's important to be able to write their thoughts and feelings and really process what they're going through.
It's such an outlet. I mean, and everything comes back down to writing, from rap songs to poetry
Right.
to everything. I mean, even what they're doing when they're texting, I mean, it still all goes back down to that, first foundational level of being able to communicate with others. And that's what keeps us connected as a society for sure.
And there's a definite connection to success as well, because they say, you have a dream, you have a goal, but until you write it down, it doesn't really, you don't see the steps you need to take.
Yes.
So almost like writing is the key to unlocking all of those things becoming possibilities.
Yes, and then just the connections and the synapses that are created in the brain when you go through the act of writing, it really does embed memories into a person's life. So you may remember something more so, or it may become more valuable if you did in fact write it down. That's for sure.
I've heard that. You take notes. That's why we take notes.
Right.
That's exactly why we take notes, to remember things. So tell us briefly about the iWRITE contest for those who may not have heard about it.
So the iWRITE Literacy Organization, we're known for the contest called iWRITE Short Stories by Kids for Kids, and it's a national competition where kids in the 3rd through 12th grade can enter short stories, poetry, or cover art. And all of our published winners are then published in the anthology, and then they go on to do other speaking opportunities in the schools, other book signings. We have an annual book signing that we do for them as well. But our big thing with this competition is bringing that cool factor back into literacy. If we can get them in the papers, then in the news, and really have the community stand by to support them so that they know this is another outlet that they have. If maybe they're not into sports or they're not into music, there's this. And we find that a lot of our kids that didn't really find that they found a niche to fit into, this was their thing.
That was their thing. And you look at so many of the books and novels that are turned into movies nowadays, you often go back to people who love reading and they tell you the book is always better than the movie.
Yes, they do.
So it's almost like it's almost like a dare, like a challenge, check it out. See if it's not true that the book is better than the movie, and write your own stories.
And it's so much fun to do the comparison too, even when teaching children to write, and they get to see those archetypes of characters and how it's related to their own writing and what they're learning in the classroom or in creative writing workshops.
Right, that's really, really exciting. So what kind of impact, you were talking about the iWRITE contest and seeing kids as early as 3rd grade, seeing their work published and being praised for doing a good job. What kind of impact can seeing their words published make on that child, and even older kids as well?
The act of publishing in and of itself really does increase self-confidence. I mean, that's even for an adult who is published, to see your work, in hand. And what we love to do with our kids is after they're published, get them into other schools where they become role models to other kids who may want to enter the contest. They read their work, and then they sign books for all of the students at that school provided by our organization.
So that's exciting for them to be a part of that. It's something that I did that made a difference.
Exactly. And I mean, it goes to show when a child is able to inspire another child and know that they helped them, that sticks. And that's something in just their beginning process of personality development that makes them become who they really are.
Absolutely. So how does that experience benefit maybe those who entered but didn't win? Is it a good experience for them as well?
It is, because we want them to go through the professional publishing process. We take their work very seriously. So if they, in fact, did not win the contest that year, we will give them kind of an edited critique of what they could possibly do to enter the next year. Because every once in a while you'll have some really great work and you want to give it a chance, but they need another year's worth of maybe some classes and tweaking, but we don't want them to just, go off and quit. So everybody gets contacted by us regardless if they win or not.
That's amazing. Plus, the good writing skills are going to benefit them whether they go on to become doctors or lawyers or whatever.
Yes.
They need to be good writers.
Yes, and it's a great way for schools to get involved too, because they definitely, like to maybe do a group contest as well. So
kind of bring a little competition into the classroom.
Yes.
That's so exciting. So how are writing and leadership interconnected?
Well, we love to build literacy leaders in our program, and just some of the kids that have been a part of the publishing process and have seen just the way literacy changes someone, they've gone on to have book drives, they've sent books out to other countries.
Wow.
I've even had some of our students do tutoring for some of the standardized tests that the elementary students have to go through. So
that is so exciting. So there's definitely a connection there between writing and leadership. And the kids who maybe have more experience writing because of these type of contests, because they're so involved, you can definitely see them rising up, to the top of their class, making an impact with, volunteer organizations. That's so exciting to see. I'm sure you see it all the time.
I mean, but I love getting to see young people wanting to volunteer for their community. It's really just such a rewarding thing to know that they truly care.
Yeah, and to start that early, start that young, in elementary school or middle school, that's something that's going to stay with them for the rest of their lives.
Forever. They'll continue to give back. So that's amazing.
That is awesome. It makes the world that much bigger. It's not just about me anymore. It's about, wow, I can really do something to change the world.
Yes. And a lot of these kids, they'll come back and we have them intern for us, or we'll give them recommendations for their college applications. And we tell them, use us as an organization. This was a really great thing that you have done. So we want to make sure that you use it for what it's worth.
That's great. So it's something that really, it's a seed that they're planting now as early as 3rd grade.
Right.
Or, college.
I know.
That's amazing. So Melissa Williams, our special guest, has been sharing some great information about the iWRITE literacy organization that she founded. And if you're hearing this and you're super interested, you want to find out more, we'll have the information up on the screen so you can check it out. And Melissa Williams, again, the founder of the iWRITE Literacy Foundation or organization. They're located on 6824 Long Drive, Houston, Texas, 77087. The phone number is 713-845-5808. And the website is simply iWRITE.org. The letter I, iWRITE.org. Melissa, what kind of information can our viewers find on iWRITE.org?
So all of the information for the publishing contest is going to be online, and then you get to see our featured literacy leaders for the month and what they're up to, who's winning the scholarships and all kinds of things, because we provide so many more opportunities to the kids. And right now we are about to launch an iWrite All the Time campaign, getting some of our interactive journals into the hands of kids that don't have books or journals at home. So we want to make sure they have a tool that they can use to write.
That's exciting. Do you have any closing comments before we go real quick?
Yes, I would encourage, parents and educators and kids to definitely get involved in the literacy movement, because it really is going to become a bigger thing that you start to see in the forefront of the community, that's for sure. So
definitely.
We'd love to have everybody join us.
And at the end of the day, the better you write, just writing, the better content's going to be digital. So it kind of all ties in together.
It all merges together. So.